Well folks, you requested it and I finally delivered after being caught up with school and work. I'm not gonna lie to you, that shit was straight belt to ass. But that was never gonna prevent me from making this video. Especially since there are 4 Spider-Man? I was eating good as a Spider-Man fan. And for those who are saying, how can you be a Spider-Man fan if you haven't played the Shattered Dimensions? And to that I say, you're right. You see, I never had the chance to play it when I was younger, but now that I'm older, I can finally experience what I've been missing out on. So if you're new here, welcome. The way these type of videos usually go is, I will talk a little bit about the game and give y'all my honest opinions, while of course, also wanting to know your thoughts. Now that you're briefed on how this works, let's swing on over to the main course. Starting off with the story, Spider-Man encounters Mysterio, an exceptional illusionist, attempting to steal an OP mystical artifact that can amplify a user's natural abilities, the Tablet of Order and Chaos. A fight breaks out between the two, and during it, Spider-Man manages to shatter the tablet into fragments, sending them to God knows where. Mysterio takes this opportunity to flee, and shortly after, Madam Web appears to Spider-Man, explaining how he just fucked up. You see, the fragments can still amplify anyone, so it's bad news if a piece gets into the wrong hands. And the thing is, the fragments are not just scattered, but scattered to other dimensions. But Madam Web basically says, chill, I got us some help. Introducing Noir, 2099, and Ultimate Spider-Man. These are heavy hitters. A goated lineup. Absolute peak. It's basically like having LeBron James start at the 1, the 2, and the 3. Need I say more? And that's the main premise of the game. Tasked to collect every fragment from iconic villains and apparently original ones made for the game, while getting to play each Spider-Man with similar and noticeably different playstyles. It sounds amazing, spectacular even, because it is. I had fun the whole way through, and weirdly enough, it wasn't the gameplay that mainly made the experience fun for me. And no, I'm not knocking down the gameplay. My happy ass was smiling cheek to cheek while giving these villains the work. It was the quippy dialogue from the characters, and I'll explain why. And mind you, these are my collected thoughts after finishing the game, not during it. You see, this game has a straightforward story, but a simple one. What I'm trying to say is, it's not very into the narrative aspect, and I love games that really deliver on an impactful story, leaving me in my chair just going, huh. But I took a step back to see if it was really needed, and I realized something. They emphasized who these established characters are. And how do they do that? Through dialogue that would respectfully fit the specific Spider-Man. They didn't give us a life-changing story, and that's okay. Instead, they give us who these characters are. And I'm not bent over shape over that. I'm just a happy camper. But that wasn't the only thing that made me a happy camper. Remember when I mentioned giving the villains this work? Yeah, I wasn't kidding about that. This freaking game lets you run the ones! The ones! It might seem like a simple thing, but this was my favorite part of the gameplay. And let's stay on the gameplay for a little longer and discuss these amazing Spider-Men. To brief you on their playstyles, Amazing is pretty balanced in single and wide area attacks. Ultimate is pretty much the same but swings more on the wide area attacks and comes with a rage meter, which activated makes you a powerhouse. 2099 focuses more on single attacks, but he's fast as fuck and comes with a meter of his own, which activated pretty much slows down time. And Noir, which is the biggest outlier with his own filter and playstyle focusing primarily on stealth. And out of the 4, I gotta say, I had the most fun playing as 2099, mostly because of his fast gameplay. And I'm not gonna lie, I was kinda feeling myself with the combos. But Ultimate comes in as a close second. I'm also not putting the other 2 down, but I'm curious, who was your favorite? And I don't know about you, but as far as favorite missions go, Scorpion and Carnage were my favorite. As a whole, the game has a simple story and doesn't really go deep, as I mentioned before. But the Scorpion level kind of dug a little deep. We have a mutated version of Scorpion trying to get the tablet. But unlike his villain colleagues, he was the only one without an evil intent. He was promised by 2099's Dr. Octopus' fine self that he would be cured if he brought it to her. He low-key just wanted to be normal again, and even 2099 felt bad too when he stopped Scorpion. And I'm not gonna lie, I did too. And as for the Carnage level, it purely reminded me of Web of Shadows, and I think it's the only mission that really showed some aggression from him, which I liked. Glaze, 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 that's all I'm doing currently, so let me speak on some things that weren't my favorite. Number one, like I mentioned, the story wasn't my favorite compared to the other Spider-Man games I've played, but definitely not bad, and I also explained earlier why I'm giving it some leeway. And number two is Kraven's face. I feel like I'm really nitpicking, but please tell me you're seeing what I'm seeing. Because everyone else looks fucking awesome, but then we get to Kraven. That is not Kraven. Looking back at everything, I say I had a lot of fun, and little to no complaints besides Kraven. So I'm really happy that I got a chance to experience it and actually share it with y'all. Let me know your thoughts on the game because they could be very similar or very different, and I'm honestly here for anything. With that being said, thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll see you when I see you.
Nuff said, kids. Nuff said.